What's going on, guys? This is Dennis from Zeki's Reef here. I figured I'd just do a bit of a quick update on livestock, but I figured I'd start with filtration first. That's biological media. I guess you can say it's part of the biological footprint as far as the export goes. So we'll go down here. As you can see, it's just a block of sur media. It is crumbling a bit. That's doing my head in. I'll probably replace it with the max spec ceramic bottles because they don't crumble as much. They're a bit more robust and solid. Just not as porous. That's all right. I'll chuck them in probably over the next month or so, and then remove this in about 3 months' time. Hopefully, it should have seeded that rock by then. But let's play by ear. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll go up to the actual tank itself. As you can see, decent rock work, pretty cryptic. A couple of caves here and there. It's not going to be as elaborate as some of the better setups. Bear in mind though, I had glued together some of this rock and it looked really nice. And then when I put it in the bucket to bring it in here, it broke. So I'm a bit salty about that, but that's all right. It's not really a big issue. I think the main thing is just making sure everything's happy and healthy. Now, I've got a Satoshi here. It's normally red. Of course, I'm not really going to play with the Mimic 80 Plus for the time being, so I'm just going to leave it as is, but it's a red Satosa. It's just a little piece I've had for a while, and I've banked it with a few people as well, so if it doesn't do well at the moment, this rock's been cycling for about 5 months as well. If it doesn't do well, I will take it out and replace it, or if it dies, of course, I'll take the frag plug off, replace it. If it does well, I'll break it off the frag plug, glue it onto the rock. We'll see how we go. Next piece, green Hasuda. The piece at the back isn't doing too well because I splodged glue all over it. I'm 6'7", so I've got big mitts, big hands, and they're clumsy. So gluing and me don't mix too well, especially when there isn't much glue left in the bottle or the tube. But the piece in front of it's doing decently for the time being. This is going to be the same as that Satosa. I have a larger piece that sits in a holding tank at the moment. Sorry, the camera's moving around a bit. And if it does well, I'll move it across. If not, it's going to be very much a wait and see and a bit more of a tentative approach. If it doesn't do too well, I will essentially just leave it in the holding tank for the time being until the tank is more mature and ready to handle it. But let's see how we go. Here, I've got a green Goblin and Acropora. Pretty much the same thing as the Hasuda. I have more of that sitting in the holding tank, and if it does well, great, I'll move it across. If it doesn't do well, I'll leave it there, and then move across in due course. Now, you can see two little nubs there. They're actually pink digitata, and I have another piece around the corner which actually has polyps out, so these pieces I don't think fed too well. But nonetheless, the green digi sits on the other side. I can't be bothered moving across just yet. It's a wait and see, and same thing, I have that banked around. It's not as colourful because some of the snails in the holding tank died and sort of increased the nutrients, so it's browned out a little bit. But when they're healthy, they do well. So we'll see how we go. Next to it, I've got, and this is actually really close, but I've only put them close together because I can move the blue digi. And if not, I've got tons of blue digi. I can just stick it somewhere else in the tank, which I probably will do. Blue digi, same thing. I have more of it sitting in the holding tank, so we'll see how it fares. All right, now let's move across. And it's very hard to capture on camera, but those are the pulps sticking out of the pink digi there that's pretty browned out at the moment. So again, same thing, I'll wait and see how it fares. Next to it, however, let's zoom out and zoom back in. It's not so much next to it, but I have some forest fire digitata here. Same thing, wait for that to colour up and grow out. And some green Capricornus. As you can see, that's the coral I have in here at the moment. As far as overall goals for the tank itself, let's sit back down because I'm lazy. This side will probably be predominantly Montipora based, just so it doesn't encroach upon the Acropora. They do grow fast and it's a bit easier to manage when they're all clumped together. I've got an Acropora at the front, which I've kept at the front, just so it's easy to break bits off and manage it. In the middle, I have put the Setosa and Hasuda, just because it'll give me a pop of color there, and Hasuda's pretty good in the middle as well. So I think that growth pattern is going to be very interesting. Creates a lot of hiding spots for the fish I want to chuck in this tank as well, so I'd love to chuck it there. When it comes to rock, so the rock placement as well, this will be an Acropora spot, so maybe Millipora there, see how we go again. In the middle, there is some rock work behind there, which I'll probably stick a green Dallas onto. I've got two other corals lined up at the moment, so the Australian equivalent of a PC Rainbow, and also Maleficent. Maleficent will probably sit somewhere high up there. And then a little bit lower down, I'll chuck the PC Rainbow probably on that rock work, or I'll snap that ledge off, glue it onto that bit there with a bit of epoxy, and have a bit of a ledge that comes out, and pop it there and let it grow out and see how it performs. For the really high bits, I'll see if I can find some highlight Acropora. I'm sure there's going to be some on the market. That's halfway up from the tank. So hopefully something that grows a bit more staghornish rather than plating out and shadowing everything underneath it. And then, of course, green Dallas, which is the equivalent of the barley slime, which I was talking about before. I'll actually also get my hands on another staghorn coral, which is called a Dallas, but it's a red polyp Dallas. I don't actually think it's a Yongii, but looks similar, looks beautiful, and I'd like to chuck that there. Maybe pink Cadillac up on that bit there. Salmon Tosa around there somewhere, just give a bit more of a pop of color. And maybe another Rainbow Millie. This is probably going to be subject to change though, because it depends on just how I feel as far as how everything's going to grow, because like it's a smaller tank than what I'm used to, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good opportunity to see if we can get some, like a tank with, like, already got like, I probably cap it at like 15 like colonies of SPS to grow to decent sizes. I don't need to have like 50 of them in here at a nub size. I just keep pruning them. I really want to, once I put them in here, my hands don't go back into the tank and bother that coral unless it needs to be moved, or I really need to prune it, which really shouldn't be the case, for a good couple of months. So I was just looking at something. When it comes to this bommy here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might even put that red polyp Dallas there. We'll play by ear, we'll see how we go, because these lights are going to come down a little bit lower, so the intensity is going to be a bit higher than what it is at the moment. As far as this outcrop here, I want to put green star polyp on the base and let that grow out and see if it can act as a substrate, quotation marks. This rock here, I've got zoanthids. I might chuck it on the rock and just let them encrust across it, or I might get rid of the zoanthids and chuck something else on that rock. I'm not sure. Play by ear. Maybe some form of LPS, either a maybe a chalice or Micromusa lordhowensis, also known as acans. Not really acans, but call them that. Same thing here. I might do an LPS there. Not sure what, but we'll see how we go. And then there's the red rock out the back there. Same thing, don't know what I'm going to put there. It might well just end up being another piece of cap, maybe an orange cap cornice. Just sort of let them grow near each other, into each other, yada yada yada. But yeah, as you can see, that's the livestock. It doesn't really fill up all that high into the tank, like I said. So let's see how we go. It's been 9 minutes. I figured I'd talk about what I'm going to do with this tank and then the fortnightly videos. So you can see, do a heat check. I had Crocs on before, but I figured I'd go chuck these on. These are my NASA Ultraverse 20s. They're nothing special. These are a bit of a mule pair for me. I wear them whenever I go out about and do things. But you'll see that I'm a huge fan of Boost and Max Air, Nike Air Max. You can see the Panther tattoo there as well. But I'll do a heat check. You can see my kicks. I do collect sneakers mildly. I'm not a nut for it. I do like the odd sneaker here and there. I've got a couple for my son as well, which are cool and unique. So if you like sneakers, feel free to tune in there. You can roast me for my heat check as well if you want. Feel free to judge, I don't care. It's subjective, right? But yeah, everyone stay safe. COVID's a rough time. And take it easy with your reefing. Catch you later.